How's it going, everybody? All right, let me read this right quick. A lot of y'all know I don't really do the zodiac thing, right? I'm a Gemini. So what is wrong with they messing with this phone? They're really being nosy. Not trying to give them no energy, but they're stupid. Anyway, I'm Gemini, which is air. They say that's the air sign, which is heaven and wind. For those who don't know, if you do I Ching or Nietzsche, and what does that say about us? Let me see if I can pull something up that says something about it. Go ahead, let me see if I can pull it up on here. Oh, okay, let's see. Okay, that's our brother over in Africa. Anyway, Gemini, May 21st to June 20th. For those who good about that. The first air sign of the zodiac and third sign overall. Geminis are buzzy, information gathering spirits in human form who generally bring the most exciting air energy to the table. Yet, case in one point, our air signs, Gemini, Libra. These are the air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. The thinkers, ideators, and communicators of the zodiac. Well, we know that the zodiac is no more than elements. It's more than that, but that'd be a whole nother topic going for hours. The element of air is one that allows freedom, liberation, and a breath of fresh air. And so people born under an air sign are adventurous, curious, and ever-changing, just like a breeze. And even though I don't get into the zodiac nonsense, because I know that it's a way for them to know who we are when we're born. I believe that from what I've learned, that when we're born in a certain month, they have certain shots, inoculations, to keep certain things from happening within individuals. And why do I say that? Well, I read Awakening Tuition, right, by Mona Lisa Schultz. When here, intuition. Let me see if I can. Now, I was highlighting some other stuff, but I'm gonna go ahead and read this about one part of it that's pretty steep. Whether we call them hunches, gut feelings, senses, or dreams, they're all the same thing. Intuition, speaking to us, giving us insight and knowledge to help us make sound decisions about any number of actions we take. Now, intuition occurs when we directly perceive or, facts outside of the range of whatever thought may be happening. I guess I'm more highlighted here, but I'm trying to, of what they say, the usual five senses. I believe we have more than that. I think five senses put us in a conundrum of a battle, in this void that is kind of like phobic. It doesn't let you really expand. And of those senses, I believe the independency or independently of any, when they put us in there out of any reasoning factor, I believe that when we look outside of that, whatever your sign may be, whatever earth, wind, fire, whatever it may be, right? To embrace the narrative of that intuition or whatever is your peak, not meaning end, peak meaning going to the highest point you can go and then pursuing it even further. I'll read this highlighted part. It says, where did that perception come from? Well, they're going to say scientists, the most worthless, only valuable to the corporation and everything that does everything, but state that still struggling to pinpoint. They're having a hard time to pinpoint it because they don't know. It's from the source. It's who we are. If we go back and we say, like I was saying over there, we're not physical. We're not just physical. We're much more than that, people. But as far as us, one theory is always a theory with these idiots, holds that people with exceptional intuitive skills in given fields are simply expert tapping into vast mental libraries of information. Remember, I'm always saying that they say the DNA, there is so much more in you, and they have to block you off from that. Otherwise, you will live longer, and we probably go after this bastard who's allowed himself or themselves to be free while they're capitulating our young ones, our younglings, to death. And then they have little idiot, narcissistic, dumb, who they give a little bit of this to a little bit of that, and they feel something, and they say, you can live a little longer than everybody else, but this is what you got to do for me. So, they get the training, and then they get to see these things, and they're blinded with hypocrisy and lies, and then they manifest the narcissistic or the sociopathic, psychotic behaviors that go against their own people. And whatever other lies they tell them that they buy into because they're shown things and they're allowed to see things that you and others are not allowed to. Now, anyway, mental libraries of information and memories that they keep stored in their minds. And we know that we think not just with our brain. That is like the computation center. But our guts are intuitive. We think, you have a healthy gut. What do they say about a healthy gut? You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I just wanted to share that because I like to give a little tea and stuff. But we're going to go ahead and get right into reading because I got to run back out. I cleaned those two and put them right back. I got to still clean this and that one over there. But you know me, man. I start getting dirty fingers and it takes forever to get the stuff off, man. I start looking like crackhead or something. not attempting to sound mean. Drugs are not good, and many people are hooked on them, and I just hope they get off of them. It's all love. Anyway, let's go ahead. I had my ear thing in just in case. I don't do it. I never put my booger finger on the trigger, but you never know when a cat might want to jump up and the safety's off and you didn't take a round out and he popped one off and it hit your toe, your big toe or something like that. He likes to jump up. He's playing rough right now. He's got his biddles going, and that's why I don't give him catnip. So you know what I mean? So Even though the safety's always on and it's empty, I'm just saying, I don't risk nothing. So let's get into the Iron Republic. For the new subscribers, appreciate you being here. We're going to have our days when we talk about genealogy and stuff. But right now, I find it very important to talk about certain things that have our people kind of upside down and backwards. I'm not giving no answers. When I do relegate a response to something, I prefer that you research it. And right now, there are several individuals who are watching my channel, not speaking, not being respectful or responsible. They believe that they got this big ego and they're piggybacking off all of it because I have so much information to share. So if you hang around, you might hear something. I might talk about something that I have not mentioned. There's a lot of things. I just like baby steps. All right. So let's go ahead and get to the Iron Republic, edited by C.J. Austin. All right. This is after, and I don't know if any of y'all were here. This is after these right here, which is the world's beyond the Antarctica, which is Nos Confoundum. This is a Spanish brother in Spain. So let's go ahead and get right into it. All right. Let me pick up the page because we was way in there. Chapter 7, I believe. Okay. Nope, not right there. 2 more pages, I believe. And yep, here we go. So if you wasn't here yesterday, I did the video yesterday, I believe the day before that. So that way you can pick up chapter 6 and all that kind of stuff. It might be done. Well, last one, referring to these essentials, it is not possible to counterfeit them, I asked. And we're talking about the Iron Republic compared to what was considered U.S. of America, to which this individual is talking to the professor, Mr. Morris, and other legalities over there, to have an understanding about the diem, which is the monetary. There's nobody rich nor poor. Everybody is a balance, yet there is a monetary that has its weight as far as in gold or silver, which is not really used. I'm just saying, like here, our fiat actually had gold and silver standards behind them. Before that, it even existed. It was barter system, even trade-offs, which has a balance. And the even trade-off, it wasn't that somebody was accomplishing or acquiring something more than somebody else, but needful things, not wanted things. We're in a time and age where they have turned the fiat in 1971 by way of Nixon into a debt, as if we owe society a debt when they created based on the ideology of us being fooled into this democracy, which is nothing more than fascism, which is Marxism, to bring around a totalitarian state to make people subservient to something they shouldn't be. So every time I see these little rappers and individuals talking about dollars and knuckleheads who have never flown a plane or jumped out of a plane or never swam or navigated a boat in the ocean, who talk about the earth being a spinning ball because they look through this new age telescope that has a fisheye lens and is mitigated with, when you look up there, right? There's like around you an aurora. And just same thing with the sky. There's filters, many different filters, and we only see between a certain frequency of that. So how can you see with a telescope unless you're using a Nikon P900 or 1000? And when you look through those, which are fabulous, you're going to realize there's water up there. You can't see no planet. This has been proven 1,000 times over. Yet NASA is about Nassau deception. And I am not surprised that the Negroes on the East Coast who still hold on to the earth being some spinning ball because they can't disembark from religion and this, that, and other, nor do they know their ancient ways. This is the hypocrisy to which we live. That's why I don't really debate people who are not my equal. And that's not meaning up or low. It just means they don't have the knowledge. And then when you tell them, well, did you ever jump out of a plane at least 1,000 feet high? You know how to use a compass? Do you know how to mitigate terrain, regardless of hills and mountains and stuff and flat plains? Do you know what terminology and language is? These individuals and most of our people, melanated, are very ignorant to that. They will dismiss white people or the pale skins, science, and this, that, and other, not knowing the truth of how it came to be. That's why I want to read Flatlandis again, so we can break it down and get rid of all the mythos. We can stop all the hypocrisy, and that way people can listen and not estrange themselves from what may be plausible, and they can do the research themselves, because I am tired of talking to dumb Negroes. I really, really am. So let's get into this. Now remember, this is a city beyond the ice wall, people. We're talking miles and miles and miles. We're talking a very far distance compared to that's the South Pole and it's the island. No. It might be done, answered the professor, although they are printed in specially prepared paper. But as every man who passes one may be required to endorse it, it would be like counterfeiting a bank check in your country, which can be done by anybody. Now, the penalty, though, is severe. And as we have no idle class, there is no criminal class. And any kind of a misdemeanor is a rare occurrence in this country. I should think, I remarked, that having to endorse these asientos in every small transaction would be annoying. They are not used in small transactions, was the reply. They may be deposited and converted into fractional currency at any post office, though. And indeed, and what are the denominations of your money? Remember earlier in the last paragraph, we were talking about why is there not no coin, like metal, like change? Okay, let's see what we got. Our lowest denomination is the minimum, which represents 5 minutes of labor. Then we have 3 minutes, 6 minutes, and the hora, hour, which is supposed to represent an hour's work. And as a day's work, and we know they speak more of a Germanic and Spanish, they have a composite of, well, when we get back into worlds beyond Antarctica, then we'll get back into that. But let's go ahead and tighten this one up. It represents an hour's work, as a day's work here is 8 hours. The hour, hora, is worth about 12.5 cents in your money. Above this, we have the quarter diem, half diem, and diem. In the large, remember, diem is like $1. Larger denominations, there are 1, 2, 3, 5, and 10 diems. Money here represents labor, and labor is made the basis of our unit, to which, if I may use that term, of its value. 12 minimums make an hour, and 8 hours make a diem at 12 cents. You know what I'm saying? While this conversation, so dry and uninteresting to the ordinary reader, was going on, many places of interest were pointed out to me, and I was keenly alive to the beauties of the city, through which we were rapidly propelled. Afterwards, we passed out into the country, where on every hand were the same evidences of prosperity I had seen in the city. Modest but comfortable homes, paved roads, every resource of nature taxed to the last degree to subvert the convenience of man, to make sure that nobody's being rich and greedy. Everybody's living on an equal plane. Everybody partakes and participates, and everybody is well off. Entertainment and everything. It's not about control, but we could say the mitigation of control to keep people from overstepping their boundaries to become perverse. We see that now. It might have taken a great while, I remark, for people to reduce the art of living to this point of perfection. On the contrary, replied my friend, the change was wrought in a very few years, when the people found that it paid to live in this intelligent, specific way, and the spirit of reform got in the air, and they went at it with a vim. Wonderful word. We were going through a pleasant, shady lane, on one side of which were some cattle standing under the trees, and on the other a man plowing in a field with a horse. The first I had seen. We were yet some distance from the farmhouse, when, hearing a humming noise behind us, I looked around and saw a box or a car about as long and thick and about half as wide as a square piano, running towards us on 2 cables stretched on poles. I had noticed these cables and a lot of other wires, but I had not learned all of their uses. Here's another new one on me, I cried, standing up in the carriage to see the thing go by. That is the Rural Express, said the professor, laughing, and then he directed the motorman to keep up with it until we passed the farmhouse, that I might have an opportunity to see it work. If it should have something to deliver there, it was running about 30 miles an hour, and we spurted along by it till I passed the house. The box or carrier ran 8 to 10 feet above the ground, and when it reached a pole in front of the house, one of a number of knobs or cranks that projected from the side of it engaged in on the pole, and several packages were thrust out of the rear end of it and dropped into a box-like receptacle attached to the pole just below. A gong was rung at the same time, and a lady came out of the house, lowered the box with the pulley, and took out the packages. This rural deliverer, the professor told me, was one of the newest of the public utilities and was just being introduced. It had proved a success, and the Department of Progress intended to put them on throughout the Republic. That's pretty awesome. So we're going to read one more paragraph, all right? And we're going to get into the other books that I said I was going to read, just to tame up one. Appreciate everybody coming in. Just hold on. And it's going to get interesting. They were run from the exchanges and post offices and carried. Besides mail, packages up to 20 pounds weight. The cables also carried electric light and power currents, and the carriers ran in circuits, going on round and back to the starting point when empty. Several of them passed us while we were on the line of the circuit and were running continuously. This section of country was an elevated plateau, and to the northward could be seen the blue outlines of the Illyrian hills. Now it gets good after here, but I wanted to stop right there, y'all. Yeah, it gets good. Let's go ahead and mark this, and we'll come back to this and read quite a bit of it. But I just wanted to get into this other one because I know some people are like, he was reading that. No. The reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. You just have to hold on tight. Because I believe it's like two or three pages. Yeah, and then we get into chapter 8, which we get into when that gets pretty interesting. Okay. All right. What you doing? Why you laying on your back all the time? What you? I should have got your nuts clipped. All right, let's get into the Gods of Eden. William Bramley. Thank you, Snoo. Really good book. Now, I should read it from the beginning, but I'm not going to do that because some books I like to read 2 or 3 times, and there's always something to come from that. So what I'm going to get in the book is, we're dealing with this situation with the media. Keep pushing with this UFO stuff. And y'all saw the video. I know some of y'all saw the video I put up there. Oh, it's longer. It's on Instagram. It's on my page saved. And you can tap on it for the remix and watch the whole thing in its entirety. UFOs, truth or fiction? UFOs, what are they? Where do they come from? Strictly speaking, the term unidentified flying object, UFO, refers to any aerial object which cannot be positively identified as a man-made construction or as any known phenomenon of nature. The term implies a mystery in common parlance. UFO is often used to denote any object which might be a spacecraft from an extraterrestrial civilization. Got to be careful when you read words like this, because they put you in a sump, a place where you accept it and it's irrelevant, even though you have not seen it. But if you dig deep inside, can you relegate it to something that might be in your memory banks? That's why I always say it the way I do. It's exercise, so you can break free. All right. Now, the phrase unidentified flying object was coined by U.S. Air Force Captain Edward J. Ruppelt. You might want to look at him. Ruppelt. Okay. And Captain Ruppelt led an Air Force investigation into the phenomenon in 1951. Now, prior to Ruppelt's investigation, UFOs were usually called flying saucers because many eyewitnesses described the objects as disc-shaped. Now, there's a rock group, and they had a name for them. I forget the name of the rock group, a punk rock group. R.E.M. Well, anyway, we'll get into that in a little bit. Let me finish reading this. Because many eyewitnesses described the objects as disc-shaped, flying saucers quickly became a term of derision. However, due to the skepticism expressed by many newspapers and magazine writers, that is, unidentified flying object was used by Captain Ruppelt to lend his Air Force study an air of respectability. What? To lend his Air Force study an air of respectability, excuse me. UFO is also a more accurate term because not all unidentified flying objects are saucer shaped. Hundreds of UFOs are reported every year, usually to police, to the news media, or to UFO research groups. And these reports represent only a minority of the total number of UFOs actually seen because most UFO witnesses do not publicly reveal their encounters. Now, roughly 90% to 95% of all reported UFOs prove to be man-made aircraft or unrecognized natural phenomena. And approximately 1.5% to 2% are outright hoaxes, often accompanied by spurious photographs. And although hoaxes constitute Tomahawk, come on, brother. I don't know if you can hear me when the notification comes down. That's why I stopped. Proved to be man-made aircraft. Okay, well, anyway, so we know that 1.5% to 2% are outright hoaxes, often accompanied by spurious photographs. Although hoaxes constitute such a small percentage of all UFO reports, they have created a disproportionate amount of trouble. I'm about to go over there and tell them to stop right now, because now he's being an asshole. UFO reports, they have created a disproportionate, instead of being over here supporting the brother, disproportionate amount of trouble. Hoaxes are, in fact, responsible for almost entirely disgracing the serious study of UFOs. The more convincing the fraud, the more damage it will usually do. Now, the remaining 3% to 8.5% of all UFO sightings are those which appear to be aircraft of non-human origin. Most researchers are concerned with this last group. Now, 20th century UFOs were rarely reported in the mass media before 1947. I wonder why. They say the nuclear bomb, bullcrap. And so some people assume that UFOs must be a relatively modern phenomenon. UFOs are, in fact, quite the opposite. UFOs have been reported for thousands of years in all parts of the world. For example, writer Julius, Obsequens reproduced the following account from 216 BC in his book, Prodigorium Libre. Things like ships were seen in the sky over Italy. At Arpi in Italy, a round shield was seen in the sky. At Capua, the sky was all on fire, and one saw figures like ships. I'm going to stop right there. Now, reason why I'm reading this is because for those of you who pay attention to South America, even up here in North America, they had to hide it all. This being the old world, they came here to learn how to do all kind of things and dig up things that were utilized for a great war. And see, they want us to believe their little mitigated wars of World War I, World War II, and all these little police things, which are some of the worst things that should never happen, that these are wars. These are not wars. This is warlike, but far from what we had accomplished and what we've done before. Remember, I was talking about the spears in Honduras, and those were weapons that we were able to touch the surface of the moon. There's a reason why the moon is the way it is, and you don't see the dark side of it. Never. The term alien is used loosely. We even use it down here to call people alien immigrants or aliens on the land, on Earth. And that's because of the, you know who. And it's terrible, to say the least, when our past history, there's no such thing. We knew exactly what we were dealing with, and in order for them to be able to do what they're doing, they need to keep everybody blind and hidden from that truth and build up the scare factor. So when things come out, people will freeze or literally drop dead because of fear. That's why it's important that, and there's more to that, we'll get into that. That's why it's important for people to stop mitigating their narrative. There are other Earths. This plane, this land, this Earth, here they go. That the Earth is God's footstool. Like, who's standing on a ball other than the acrobats? Like, footstool to me is like my footstool right there. It's flat with 4 legs. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into the reptilians and the history of humankind. Now, do I believe there are things out there that are mitigating something different? Of course I do. Am I sure? Am I positive? It doesn't matter. You can't regurgitate what I'm saying. You need to know things. And if you don't know, you need to seek and find as much as you can. And why you can. Because what these people are doing, what these things are doing, believe me, they weren't smart enough to do it on their own. And it's not a first rodeo. Right? So Reptilians in the History of Humankind, Anunnaki by Henry Crane. Okay? I'm going right to where I left off because this book I'm going to end up reading again. All right? I am. Because it is a really good read. All right? You know, I've got all kinds of circles and marks in here. I mean, literally, all throughout this book. It's just, I mean, like for real, for real. No, some of you are going to be like, man, I wish he'd read from the beginning. No, I'm going to read from where I left off at. Okay? Well, last marked it out. Oh, dang it. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Initially, the Anunnaki and the Igigi, remember I was talking about the Igigi? Remember I was talking about Japan, the Hatta people, the Anu Islands, the Igigi, how it became a clan, wearing the little funny designs of the so-called stolen identity when you sit there and talk about the shoguns of old and, you know what I mean? The Igigi clan. Okay. Look, the Anunnaki and the Igigi transmitted much of their knowledge in engineering, agriculture, astronomy, and construction to humans so that they could learn and perform their tasks more quickly. Doesn't that sound like the biblical ideology or Gilgamesh as far as the Watchers? There were those who the fallen, shared technology, this, that, the constellations. But that would be going back hundreds of thousands, half to a million years. I mean, who knows, right? But Enlil realized about the danger of humans not being any kind of beings because apparently they were too intelligent and could rebel at any moment. Let me repeat that again. But compared to the other books that I'm reading, as far as the Anunnaki, the wars, blah, 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 pay attention. Eden, you know, Garden of Eden, all that, Adam and Eve. But Enlil realized about the danger of humans not being any kind of beings because apparently they were too intelligent and could rebel at any moment. So he decided to communicate this problem to Anu, and they decided to create a system of beliefs in which humans should worship their gods. That's why I don't like when people call themselves, they put the word Anu in there. That means that you're a puppet to something other than yourself. Anyway, again, a system of belief. Look, Anu, they decided to create a system of beliefs in which humans should worship their gods. We have the same thing as far as in Nos Confoundum. And neither one of these individuals know each other, nor did he study this book or read it. For this to be effective, Enlil began to manipulate them through fear, demonstrating miracles through technology that only the gods could do. It is at this point that they begin to perform the sacrifices demanded by the gods to appease their anger. Anu also strictly prohibited the Anunnaki to transmit the knowledge of technology or spirituality to human beings under very severe condemnations to anyone who dared to help them, even to death. Now, to which Enki flatly opposed. He wanted his creation to be a free race, capable of evolving and developing self-awareness. Enki was frustrated to see how his huge creation was being wasted on slaves performing heavy tasks. And despite that potential, they were also being manipulated so that they did not exploit the full potential they could reach. So it occurred to him an idea for his creation to be able to develop. And he told Anu that they should have a group of Lulus on another side, far from the Euphrates River. Now, the first Anunnaki settlement, where all the created humans were concentrated, and who lived unnoticed by the watchful eyes of the Akkadians, with the purpose of creating weapons and being prepared for some treachery or attack of the interterrestrials. Interterrestrial is terrain, special, inner. That means interdimensional, people. That means a walk from one part to the next part, or a flight, or a ship, because it is well known that even under the sea they could come in. How? I don't have no clue. That memory's not in me. Anu agreed, but on a condition Inky had to create a different race of Lulus, much stronger, and that they were disconnected more condones of their DNA to reduce their psychic capacity and their ability to procreate. So Inky accepted. That's almost like a what do you call that? I mean, what do you call those people with they get the nuts cut off? What is that called? What do they call those people like in India and all Africa? Eunuch, excuse me. So anyway, he created the second race of human beings with black skin to resist the sun and stronger physically. In return, they lost their psychic abilities. They were employed as slaves for the arduous tasks that the Anunnaki had. Upon finishing his new creation, Inky went to Mu, a continent that was located in the Pacific Ocean. That's why the Negro is different from Ham. On the supposed secret mission of building weapons with all the freedom of the world in this continent, Inky created the third race of humans, physically very similar to those of the first race, with the same psychic abilities, but only different in stature. Since this third race, which was named Lemurians, had an average height of 2 to 2.5 meters. So wouldn't that be inconsistent? We'll be reading this. Wouldn't that be consistent? Hold on now. Hold on. Reason for everything. Just relax. Relax your guts. With the women of Lemuria? Even the American covenant, based on the women of here, which people, they was running around talking about the land of Mu, the woman, Gaia, Lilith. Anyway, had an average height of 2 to 2.5 meters in height. Now, how tall is 2 to 2.5 meters? We're not going to sit here and get, even though I know right offhand, because I like to shoot a lot. And I'm not all big on the foot and inches and stuff no more. No, we didn't sit. No, not that. Damn. Well, that's pretty damn tall. Wow. So you got 1 meter, right? That's 3.28. I wanted to get to the, let me type that in. 3 point, almost a half, or 3 point, a little more than a quarter, a foot. 1 meter is 3 feet. So we're talking about 6 to 7 feet tall. All right. I just wanted to make sure, because they have many different breakdowns. I had to take a little calculator on the side, just make sure it was the right thing. All right. You don't have to go popping it up. I know you should know what it is anyway. Inky knew very well that the Anunnaki were going to want to visit the place where he was creating weapons. So he decided to move. That's why everybody's going like, why is your daughter taller than you and your son? I'm like, well, I got scoliosis. So at 5'10", my scoliosis removes about almost 2 inches. But it's very mild, but 2 inches. It is there. You just can't see it. I'm kind of thick and muscular. I went into the military with scoliosis. I shouldn't have been. They should have been like, no. But you know, Tai Chi and Kung Fu, So I should be roughly about 6 foot tall, exactly like my father and everybody else. It's just, and smoking weed like a motherfucker. I don't know if it was just me always sitting like this because I was all cool all the time. What's up, homie? What's up, homie? Yo, cuz, what's crack? You know what I'm saying? Well, I wasn't saying those words back then, but you know what I mean. Anyway, let's go on. So he decided to move to the Atlantic, having finished creating the Lemurians and Atlantis, a huge continent located in the Atlantic Ocean, where he created the fourth race of humans, which had a similar physical aspect to those of the first race, of the same size and with the same physical capacities. The only difference is that they had a dark complexion and were much more intelligent. This race was called the Atlanteans. That's who we were actually supposed to be. I mean, the other ones were kind of like, I don't know, like kind of yellowish red. To these two new races, all reptilian Anunnaki knowledge was revealed, from the construction of buildings through stones to the channeling of energy through the chakras. No wonder that after 100 years of civilization, these two races had already created great civilizations. But the Atlanteans did create atomic weapons, and weapons that threw rays through crystal prisms and quartz, unlike the Lemurians, who did not have any weapons. Now, these two great civilizations had large maritime ships and ships that could sail the sky. That is why the Lemurians could explore what we all know today as South Africa, Madagascar, Sri Lanka, Sumatra, Indian Ocean, Australia, and New Zealand. On the other hand, the Atlanteans managed to explore almost all the oceans existing in the world. In all this time, Enki was showing several times the weapons created to Anu. Like I said, why do you think they came here to, again, build nuclear weapons? He told them that he was hiding them somewhere in the Atlantic continent, that when they had a sufficient number, he would tell him to finish the mission. Meanwhile, in the first Anunnaki settlement, the Igigi already considered the lesser gods. Their supervision tasks were entrusted to the first human race created by Enki. The heavy construction work was entrusted to the black race, the second created human race. Now, picking up the line of investigation, as mentioned in chapter 4, that the giants were hybrid beings. In that same time, many reptilian beings had sexual relations with human women, creating so the giants and other various hybrids could exist. It is worth mentioning that not all reptilian human children were giants. Some came out in their crosses of normal height, stature. And these obviously were named as kings, and they did not have to worry about working. At this point, the clever human woman began to extract the most valuable information from these reptilian beings with whom they copulated about the knowledge that they were forbidden to reveal to Homo sapiens. Now, I will go on, but I'm going to stop right there. Because it gets back into Enlil. We know who Enlil is. Remember? We were reading about that. Well, the ideology or the narrative that to who he may be. Whether you could sit there and say Enoch, Nimrod, whatever, Gilgamesh, I don't know. You've got to really pay attention. And there's people out there who believe they're very fluent and they tell you, this is who Enlil was. And it's like, shut up. These idiots don't even know that information like this should be allowed to be shared because it's close to, but subpar. So remember that. Just because we're reading it doesn't mean that it's a solid 100. It's based upon something, but it's not a solid 100. Okay? Just remember that. I'm going to put on my dudes, man. I hate the fact that these are made in China. These damn things are so freaking comfortable. All right, let's get into the Hatha material. Messages from Ascended Civilization. Tom Kenyon and Virginia Essence. Excellent friggin' book, y'all. Excellent friggin' book. God dog, man. This book right here. And I've been to places and seen these carvings and statues in the walls. South America, over there. Oh, man. This is Look, man, and look, y'all know me, man. When it came to this book, I've been just going, I was in here going crazy. You hear me? I mean, literally, I'm in here, I was just in here just going crazy. You hear me? Look, man. But we just gonna read from where I was at before. And look, man, when we talk about Tartaria, when we talking about a two-dimensional representation of a bipolar magnetic field, a three-dimensional representation of a bipolar magnetic field, like the things that I like to, come on. Anyway, let's go back to, we're going to get up in it. Okay. I'm going to take this right from the top because I want to. Oh, these feel so good. Oh my God. Oh, these damn shoes are so comfortable. Chinese mothers, y'all did one on these motherfuckers. I don't care. These motherfuckers, the comfortable something, man. I don't care about synthetic or nothing. I'm always barefoot anyway. But God dog, these mugs is comfortable, man. Like, oh, they just hug the feet just right. Chapter 1, who are and why we have come. Who we are and why we have come. We are the Hathors. We came in love and with the sounding of a new dream reality for your earth. If you are ready to build the new world, we invite you to join us on a journey of the mind and heart. We are your elder brothers and sisters. We have been with you for a very long period of your evolution on this planet. We were with you in eons past, even in the forgotten days before any trace of us is known in your present written history. Our own nature is energetic and interdimensional. We originally came from another universe by way of Sirius, which is a portal to your universe, and from Sirius, we eventually proceeded to your solar system and the etheric realms of Venus. Etheric realms of Venus, that's another landmass. What y'all not paying attention to, which I read before, which I hope some of you remember, interdimensional. So that's not, when he says planet, we mean this terrain, this firmament. You got to remember the individual that's writing the book. You need to do a background. That's why I said look up at Tom Kenyon and Virginia Essene. All right, look them up and you'll have a clear understanding. These words that we utilize are what they are. Okay, check it out. In the past, we have specifically worked with and through the Hathor, fertility goddess of ancient Egypt. Editor's note, for the sake of clarity, we will use the spelling Hathor instead of Hathor, exclusive for the Egyptian goddess, and the spelling Hathor for those ascended beings referred to in this book. We also made contact with the Tibetan lamas in the formative period of Tibetan Buddhism. Thus, some of their unique techniques and practices about the use of sound come from our own lineage and our teachings with them. Although we have interacted with some of Earth's early cultures, we are an intergalactic civilization, means displacement of another place, with outposts that span parts of your known universe and beyond. Do I need to pull out that map to show you what a universe looks like? So you'll have it in here and beyond, because the Yiddish, the fake Yiddish speaking Ashkenazis want you to believe universe to be Star Trek, Space 1999, Star Trek, and blah, 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 Battlestar Galactica. We are what you might term an ascended civilization, a group of beings existing at a specific vibratory field. Even as you have an energy signature yourself, it is simply that we vibrate at a faster rate than you. Flash. Nonetheless, we are all part of the mystery, part of the love that holds and binds all the universes together. Remember they said something about us being the source, that they didn't want to leave us alone, and they keep mitigating this nonsense that we keep tolerating with these idiots who like to murder and destroy the physical, not knowing that we are capable of avoiding and even stopping it with our mental. I want to show you all this because I know some of you are sitting there going, man, I want to see it, man. Well, I'm going to show it to you anyway. Shut up. Because I know you all know everything. Don't you do it. Let me be smart since we're right here. Oh, that sounds beautiful. Like a trombone without the what you call it. You just you put your ear in there. You can see that. You know what I mean? So this would be a universe, not out in space. There's plenty of space all around. And also, remember Atlas holding up the universe, the Christ fluid, the pituitary gland, the right hemisphere that's never used. Why? Because it's been blocked and cut off. 33, Jacob's ladder, the ascension and descension. Seven sisters, that's the feminine energy. We're not feminine, but the seven chakras is balanced. That's why this woman center is supposed to be stronger, but we can match. That's where the true balance come in, harmony, equilibrium. If equilibrium is only right here and they have you believe in that by the clockwork of the three ear bones and all that, then if it goes up and we can't keep our balance, we get vertigo and this and another, doesn't it mean that the equilibrium is the entire system? I mean, come on, people, be smarter than the system of lies itself. Let's see who's going to talk about that next. Oh, no, I have no issue with them talking about it, but it'd be nice for them to sit there and be decent. But most people aren't decent. Excuse me. Anyway, we are in a great period of healing at all levels of this local solar system and in all kingdoms, not just human. And yet, you humans hold a key for the evolution and the ascension of your planet, Earth. That key requires free will choice, and what you humans choose or do not choose affects many kingdoms in this world. In this world, not just this Earth, but the entire universe. That key requires free will choice, and what you humans choose or do not choose affects many kingdoms in this world. You are poised at a momentous time in the history of consciousness on this planet. Something is occurring, or on this terrain, to help some of you out. I don't want to confuse you. Something is occurring that has never occurred before, and it is a joy and a kind of ecstasy for us to participate with you once again and to come into your conscious awareness. For the last time we were together consciously was in ancient Egypt. Ancient history holds few clues to our existence. Our motives are our physical description. However, there are carvings left behind from the temples of Hathor that show our likenesses. A photograph of one such carving appears twice in this book and may serve as a remembrance for some of you. Now, in the pages that follow, we will attempt to bring to you tools and understanding from our level of awareness. It is our hope and our desire that these will prove helpful to you. We want to be clear that we are not your saviors. We are not messianic. We are your brothers and your sisters who dwell to you. Yet we will not intrude in your choice making nor into your evolution, for that is your own free will. But we do stand ready to assist you. We stand ready to assist you, not just through the techniques and the understanding that we will reveal in these pages, but we are ready to work with you intimately, and individually for greater health and consciousness. Your choosing this book is a sign of willingness, and we are ready and available to you on many levels of consciousness. By offering our aid, however, we do not wish to interfere with your other spiritual helpers and cosmic relationships in any way, nor with any religious beliefs, affiliations, or organizations of help to you. Even so, there is a great deal we would like to share. I'm going to stop right there because this gets like mushy good. This really gets good, y'all. This book right here. Oh my goodness. I know some of y'all like, man, keep reading, bro. Yo. No. I want to bring you back. Bring the family back. No swearing and none of that. You know, I'm waiting on the children books too. That's going to be wonderful. All right. So I hope y'all enjoyed the read. I wanted to give you a little something different to, keep the muscles wet, even though the other information is just as great. All of it is. I'm very particular about the books I purchase, and I appreciate. My apologies. I didn't even say this. Now I feel like a big hill. Oh, my apologies. Excuse me. I haven't even eaten yet. I didn't eat, y'all. I was supposed to. Raymond Berry. Okay, again. Appreciate the 15 the other day. All right. So my apologies for not hollering, shouting you out. So yeah, he hit us up with 15 for the books, y'all. So we're gonna go ahead. We'll come back a little later. We're almost at the hour mark. I want to shut this down. Let me shout out the people that came in here. Much respect and love. And to all the subscribers, bring some more brothers and sisters here. We're gonna keep it rolling, you know. Rondo. Hey, Jolene and Sue, 2020. Hey, West Side. Sun changed our name. Oh, Snoop. I was about to say, what the heck, man? Mikey, what's going on, beloved? Hey, Sharisa Pearl. Hey, how you doing, hon? What's going on, beloveds? Herbo, what's going on, big dog? Oh, you saw about the UFOs? Yeah, we're going to leave that alone. Don't worry about it. Gray Wolf, tell Mama I said what's happening. All right. Celestial bodies are zooming around. Well, they're not what they are. They're not what you think they are. Original Lone Wolf, what's going on, family? Much love and respect. So we don't get caught up in it. Pay attention to reading. Allow yourself to manifest what you need to. Your spirit is more important than all of this crap. I'm reading because you need to have the knowledge to seek. Remember why I said that before? You got to go inside, people. You got to go inside. It's another land, planet, plane extra. Exactly, hon. That's my baby girl. There, y'all. Anyway, I appreciate y'all. We're at the hour. I wanted to cut off before this. Nothing but love. Beloved sisters, my brothers. See y'all shortly.